Good morning, everybody. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and you were on the lifeboat. Tell you what, people, it was a rough day or two. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's been a rough couple of days. So I hope you're all doing all right. If you didn't stop by yesterday, it was my brother Johnny's turn to go to the hospital, and he's doing considerably better. He's stable as hell, and I'm hoping that they're going to let him out today or maybe tomorrow. They run a bunch of tests. Borderline, good to see you from across the pond. Good morning. Yes, rough few days of hardly any sleep. It's funny that you say that because the reason that the boat is 10 minutes late is because I fell asleep sitting right here in this chair and woke up and went, oh no. Yeah, I set this thing up and then kind of fell asleep. Yeah, he is. They've got him stable, and then they'll figure out exactly what's going on with him. And Tim, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. That was one of those things that I got home from the hospital and called a friend and talked to them, and then like shortly after the conversation, my legs went to jello. Like the previous 4 or 5 hours, it all kind of caught up with me at once, and I just went, "Holy crap!" I could barely stand up. Hey, Ned and Coco Speed Shop, good to see you. Really appreciate that, man. He is doing better. He is definitely doing better. Tommy Bird, good to see you. I'm very, very happy with how he was doing last time I spoke to him, which was last night. Thank you, Salty Beach Girl, Lori. You know what? I'm definitely going to be doing the self-care thing. I promise you. I'm telling you the gospel truth. I'm going to take some time today, and I'll probably end this early too. I was just wanting to make sure I kept everybody kind of updated. The saddest part of this entire thing is that this was just his way of trying to figure out how to weasel out of that stupid stroming thing that he had set up. Candy's like, thank you so much. It's a very kind thing to say, man. I really appreciate that. Truthfully. Yeah, so I mean, he comes up with this dumb idea of this can of stroming that's been sitting in the hot sun for closing in on 3 weeks now. So he sets up these ridiculous challenges and things, and I think it kind of sunk in. And it's probably what dropped them. Yeah, my legs really did. I got home and it was so strange. I sat down and it was just it was like all the adrenaline and everything that I didn't seem to get all day long. I got all at once. Yeah, that smell is going to be absolutely awful. On the bright side, that's if there's a silver lining to the fact that Johnny had to make a trip to the emergency room. It's that I absolutely don't. I'm not too worried about having to eat fish today. He did. He pulled the Rodney Dangerfield in Caddyshack. Yes, it could be broken at that. Oh. My arm. Is this a stroming injury? No, it is not. Well, I mean, I suppose it could be. The guy's done stroming like 6 times. That can't be good for you. You know what I mean? I don't think anyone's ever done stroming 6 times on purpose, other than my brother. Maybe even 7. He's a masochist. Hey, Kathy, no one knows how to spell stroming. Truthfully. I don't think I've spelled it the same way twice ever. Snake. I'm sure it'll be fine. You're right. I have no doubt. Tony 69 says, you've had a crap week, Captain. I want to tell you something. You don't know the half of it. Seriously, you don't even know the half of it. Borderline. I'm not surprised, brother. Day 5, not seeing the light. It's there you go, Charlie Mullins. You can spell so strongly. Borderline, hang in there. Hang in there. I'm telling you, one of the things that you have to remember is how much damage we do to ourselves while we're using, and how long we spend in there dependent. And very often, we as we start to come out of it, we go through the initial detox of whatever our drug of choice is. As that starts to happen, it's. I'm sorry, hold on. Johnny said they did a squirrel scan on it. All right, hold on. Stand for truth. That's a great quote. I use it all the time. It's one of my favorite quotes ever. That would be Winston Churchill. I am not at all surprised that you have zero energy, bro. That checks out. I mean, you should have zero energy. Your body is in absolute revolt. You understand? Truthfully, your body's in revolt. When you become addicted to a pain medication, it takes away pain that is physical, spiritual, and emotional. Right? We sign up for the physical, but it takes away spiritual pain. It takes away emotional pain. It takes away anything that can cause discomfort. And then when we decide that we're going to phase off or detox off of that, it very often leaves you feeling pretty messed up, and it can be that way for a long time. So it's just a matter of, and I know it's never fun to hear. My brother's awake. I just got a text from him that said, "Did you stand on my chest? I feel like I got hit with a Nolan Ryan fastball." My muscles still hurt to touch. It's crazy. I quit benzos. I can do this. I can't see it yet. It's borderline. You got this. You really do. And the feeling right now where you are kept me using for probably an additional 20 years. I'm not exaggerating. I could get to that part of the detox process every single time I did it. I mean, no problem. It was very easy to get there. Then I would start to get all the feelings you're starting to get. I'd have pain here, or I would just start getting the automatic negative thoughts, or just that feeling of being so uncomfortable in my own skin. And I would run back. The fact that you're here and you're talking about it, borderline, what? That's your best chance. I wish I hadn't done my ACL and ever took one pill. Well, you're in good company, my brother. You're in really, really good company. You're surrounded by people who all wish that they didn't do that first one. You want to hear something crazy? If you can get through it long enough, right? If you can spend enough time getting enough sobriety under your belt, which is not an easy thing to do, I will absolutely admit. There's any. But if you can do that, you may get to a point where you start saying, yeah, maybe it was worth it. Right? I look back at the crazy things that landed me where I am today, and honestly, I thank God that I did every one of those stupid things, because every mistake and every every turn that you make checks you out to be right here. Meth addict Rachel. Late, but checking in. Meth addict. I relapse about every 6 months for short benders and justify it by saying I'm not hooked anymore. Well, you are on a substance that a lot of people tend to do that with. And the excuse sometimes, the way you justify it changes. A lot of people could say, well, you know what? I just needed to get this, or this done. I had friends who used to do that all the time. Yeah, no, I don't do this stuff anymore, but I had this weekend thing coming up and I had to assemble something and get this done. So I just thought maybe if I did just a little bit of, maybe a key bump or a teener or whatever, that it would make the work easier. That's the one I hear all the time. Wow. Kirsten, thank you so much. Best wishes for your brother and for you from Denmark. That is so cool. I cannot wait to tell my brother that he's got well wishes coming in from Denmark. I'll tell you what, I've actually had a lot of people reach out to me from all over the place. If this has taught me nothing, right? This incident with Johnny, it's that he is way more popular than I. There's just been a lot of people that have been reaching out. I think it's awesome. I really do. And the fact that everybody's praying and pulling for him is, I mean, that's as good as it gets as far as I'm concerned. So that's good stuff. And I appreciate all of you that are doing that. And Denmark, and you gotta love it. You gotta love it. So yeah. I don't know if this works the way it did with me. I was in there, I think, I don't remember, 3 days or 4 days or something like that. But when the day they tell you you're leaving, it's like prison. You know what I mean? They say, "Hey, you're getting out," and you think maybe first thing in the morning, and it just continues to get later and later and later in the day, which drives you nuts, right? Although in hospitals, I've been known to just kind of walk out, which is very difficult to do in a prison. I don't get out of day this time of bed for just anybody. Booyah. You know what? I don't either. I don't either. I am not. If I had my druthers, right? Maybe we would be like the Lifeboat live on the nines. Like that would have been particularly cool. V, I apologize for that. I'm not surprised. A lot of people wrote in and said, I can't believe how jacked up I am that your brother got that this happened. There's for so many people that have been on the bus for a long time. I mean, there are people that every day for 6 years, have gotten up with him. What's the deal? So the deal on it is this. The deal on what happened to him is this. His blood pressure just dropped through the floor. What time do I get up to do the 5 a.m.? I get up at 4 a.m. to do the 5 a.m. That's the time I get up. Oh, you know what? I got a beautiful message from Mark Wages. I really did. I got a beautiful message from him. It was absolutely awesome. But I didn't catch the live. I'll be honest, I didn't catch a whole lot of anything yesterday. Yeah, you know what, Tim? I've been shooting texts back and forth to Bree, and I think all things considering, she's doing excellent. When the person that you really care about is on the other side of the earth, it's a tough thing. But why did Johnny's blood pressure drop like that? Well, that's the golden question. And I think that's what they're trying to figure out. That's why they do so many of the tests. Gary McKay says, "Goatee looking great. No more mistakes, please." I promise. I don't know. I honestly don't know what got into me. He's got a hearing on Friday the 13th. If you're going to see you're going to court on Friday the 13th, you cannot be happy about that. That's just got to suck. Amazingly, I don't think that ever happened to me. I would appreciate that, Balake. It would not bother me in the slightest if you all slap the crap out of that like button, because truthfully, it does help with the algorithm. True story. True story. I'll tell you what, truthfully, too, I've made so many friends through the boat and the bus over this period of time that it's we talk all the time about building a family and things, and you know what, when something goes bad, it really kind of gives you an idea of how much that really happens, because just I'm telling you, it's overwhelming, the number of people that reached out to say that they're worried about Johnny or that they're praying for him or whatever. I mean, I'm not even be using that. I'm using it in its actual term. It was damned overwhelming. It really was. It really was. Thank you, Russ. Here's something to buy your brother a car. Say, sign it from everyone on the lifeboat if you don't mind. I can handle that, Russ. I promise you, I will take care of that. It will not surprise me if he's watching this. I don't know if if he's awake, he's definitely on the boat because he's Johnny's an epic lurker. He really is, which is good. If he were to show up and say hello, it would shut the show down. But he lurks often. So, but I'm going to pass that on. I promise to you. That is great, Russ. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting him out and doing an interview with him. Like that's going to be a fun one because I'll be honest with you, people. I'm just going to give him so much crap for the entire interview. I'm going to mention having to lug his carcass around and stuff like that. Getting into the car was rather unpleasant. So he may feel like he got hit in the chest with a Nolan Ryan fastball, but I feel like somebody took my brains and put them in one of those magic bullets and sort of poured it out into that little guac thing that they do. See that guac? See what I did there for you? You know how they show you the bullet? You can make guacamole in 5 seconds. It's kind of what my brain has felt like since this entire thing started. I've told the story on the boat before, but in the early 80s, that would be last century for those really young people. But last century in the 1980s, early 80s, we had a terrible car wreck. And at the time, we didn't get along at all. Like we were not, my brother and I were not friends. We just didn't like each other. And in fact, pretty viciously didn't like each other. But he had gotten a new car and we took the thing for a ride and drove it really, really fast on a road that was a bad road to drive fast on. And we had a horrific car crash. I mean, a really bad one. And to be honest, I don't think Johnny's ever been the same. I mean, he's great. Yeah, the sternum rubs did him dirty for real, Tommy. He's great and he's Johnny, but I definitely saw a change in him from that accident, but it did a huge change in our relationship. We became really, really, really close friends after that, and sort of just like lifelong homeboys for real. My brother and I are very, very, very close. But I was a little kid who had absolutely no idea what to do, and I just ran, and it was terrifying. But I'm not going to lie to you. Yesterday, when I came around the corner, and because I heard the sound. When I came around the corner, he was down and white, and his lips were blue, and for about 5 seconds, I was just like 12 years old and scared crapless with no idea what to do. And I've had a decent amount of training for exactly what to do when that happens. But I was like, and then fortunately, I didn't have to do it for a super long time, but he's once I got him up and into the car, which really again was a process. But once I got him into the car, he was doing really a whole lot better. Gift funds for Sir Johnny. Thoughts and prayers for the goat. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. I really appreciate that. And Russ is a legend. Make no mistake. I'll tell you what. You know what, Borderline? If your sister and you still don't get along, call her today, man. Call her today. You know how often we let stuff go for a really, really long time just because we'd much rather be right. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of want to be the one that wins this one. And sometimes we keep that crap going forever, and it's a horrific thing to do. And I will promise you, we always end up regretting it. Jenny says, I just saw Johnny for the first time yesterday. You're kidding. Well, that's just odd. Was shocked to hear the news later. So glad he wasn't by himself and you were there to help. Well, you know what? We kind of had that conversation. I talked to him last night in the hospital, and I just said, the timing was really good for you to be here. And if that had happened anywhere else, So it was great that he wasn't by himself. That Jenny, that absolutely occurred to me, and it was one of those things that after the fact, again, you get home and the adrenaline all wears off, and you're kind of sitting there, like, holy crap, that was a rough run, kind of a thing, and then all at once my legs just turned to jello because I thought to myself, man, if he wasn't here, yeah, he's going to be doing great because he got down there and they're going to figure out exactly what's wrong. It's the same crap they did with me. They figure out what's wrong and then they're going to take care of you. And I think they're pretty solid about about how they do what they do, especially if you advocate for yourself. And I'll be advocating for him as well. Yeah, but it definitely made for a really really rough couple of days. And so I'm probably going to wrap this one up at about right now, people, for a couple of reasons. But one is that I intend to, Diana, that's classy as hell, and I will do that. I absolutely will do that. And a 99% chance that Mama Scoville is lurking. I think like when we do really stupid things, my mom doesn't catch a lot of the shows. But if I'm doing something serious on the boat, more often than not, Mama Scova's lurking. She's a lurker. Um, but I don't know how much signal they're getting. They're way up in Canada. They're in like the bugaboos. They're way, way up there. And I haven't, I haven't seen any, but I'm sure, we kept her in the loop yesterday. That could be like a sympathy sickness. I think it's just that, um, and if you've ever had to give somebody CPR, you sort of just you shut off a little bit about you just kind of focus and get super myopic in what you're doing. And I've actually done CPR on a crap load of people. Um, After doing the EMT thing, I really have done CPR on a lot of people, but doing it on my brother, I think, was probably something I would like to avoid in the future. Yeah, nerves, Tommy. I think you nailed it. And I think that the older we get, we kind of get better at sort of compartmentalizing and saying, all right, this is what has to be done, like right now. This is what has to be done. And then you sort of focus on that, and you focus on it. And I got back after the last time and I was like, I got into the hospital, all right. He's all set up. I got his stuff. I brought it back down to him. Then I had to bring back something else back down to him. I got home and I called a loved one and I just said, you know what? It just hit me like all the adrenaline, everything that didn't happen, or I just thought I kind of had my stuff together. All at once, I just got all of it. Like the vagus nerve just kicked in, and your stomach turns to liquid, and yeah. And I actually vomited a few times, and it wasn't sick vomit. I know that that one. I've had this vomit before. It's where you're just scared crapless, and so much so that it makes it so you can't hold your stomach down. Carpe diem, lifeboat crew. You know what? I did it. I did a boat called Carpe. I did a show called Carpe effing diem because it was all written on something and we had to sort of to church it up. But yeah, man, seize the day. You never know. You really don't know that it's really one of those things. Sorry if that sounds dumb. Very rarely things sound dumb. No, I don't think that sounds dumb, man. I really don't. Emotional puking, been there. Yeah. Yeah. I've done it a lot lately. Honest to God. I don't think I did it. I don't think I did it prior to this year, but I have done it a bunch this year. And I'm not going to lie to you, I've done it a bunch in the last week and a half. I've done it more in the last week and a half than I've ever done in my life. This has been a run. This really has been a run. The good news is though, honestly, like this kind of crap happens, and it has happened to me before where I just get on these awful runs where nothing good happens for a while. But I have found, especially in recovery, that if you just keep going back to exactly the same stuff, the same things you did that get you sober, um, you can if you can hang through these times that are really bad, then when the good ones come, it's just a good thing. Yeah, I didn't know I was capable of emotional puking until I stopped doing drugs, and then that became a thing, and I was like, holy mackerel! I was always so sedated that now I don't have a problem with emotional puking. If something really heavy goes on, I'm absolutely going to hurl. It's just one of those things. All right, people, I am going back to bed until my phone rings from Johnny Scoville, and he'll probably say, bring me a bagel or some kind of demand like that. No, they feed you pretty good there. Maybe he won't. This here is a cat in a basket. And you know what? She's back in the saddle. She's a happy cat again. And every time I've been sitting down, I think this is about her third or fourth show in a row. So I think we got squirreled back onto a decent schedule here. So, all right, everybody. I promise you that you're going to be seeing more of me today. I'll keep you guys updated. And I'm sure you'll be hearing from the GOAT. He can't not create. He's a content creator. Thank you very much, Tim. Really appreciate that. All right, everybody, have a great day, and I'll keep the thoughts and prayers up. You know what I mean? Can never get enough of those. God bless.